Welcome back in. Dawson Now, the podcast episode that I have been looking forward to for a long, long time. First, we had Cooking with Brenda Gant, the viral sensation from Andalusia, Alabama that has over 1 million followers. We thought, what in the world can top that? Ladies and gentlemen, I think we have matched it. It is a friend of mine for now probably going on, roughly about 15 to 18 years. He resides in Central Florida. His home is his compound is adequately called the Funny Farm. He's a follower of Christ. He's a 7th generation circus performer. His wife Jennifer, who's not only his best asset, but just a doll in and of herself. He owns the Bello Nock's Adventure Center Funny Farm. And ladies and gentlemen, the guy who's been listed in the Guinness Book of World Records, put your hands together and welcome to the program, Bello Nock. Bello, welcome.
Wow. That's a great introduction. I haven't felt that good since we did the Kansas City Royals post game.
By the way, all right, we're just going to get into it because you showed up and you have to change. You go into a performance. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll get into this later, but Bello is he is someone that just performs stunts. I don't know what you call yourself. What do you call yourself, Bello?
I came up with comic daredevil because I'm not what most people consider that daredevil, the stunning good looks, the cool costume, silence please, drum roll, and look at me and I'm going to do something. Because I was born, first 10, 20 years of my life, I was redheaded, buck-toothed, pigeon-toed, knock-kneed, and I was a nerd. I was a klutz. I tripped everywhere I was going.
Wow.
But I found my way in a family of daredevils when I saw that I made people laugh or I got their attention by my klutziness. I came from, again, a family of daredevils, followed in their footsteps, but I tripped on my way to climb the ladder to go up high into precarious. So it got people's attention. They were like, well, you better watch him because he doesn't look like he can walk on the ground.
You're the real life Dumbo. I mean, he became the Dumbo. Anyway, all right. So that's what you do. And we're going to talk about all of that. But when we were doing Kansas City, this only happens to you. And I love it about you because you find yourself in so many different circumstances where you get to shine. You had to change clothes. You were in the restroom. And in a stadium of 45,000 people, who happens to walk into the restroom?
The owner of the team.
the owner of the team sees this guy changing clothes in a restroom, and you strike up a friendship with the owner of the Kansas City Royals. That is awesome, man. We have had you in so many different situations, and you keep coming back for more punishment, and I appreciate that about you. We had you at Atlanta Fest. We've had you at Stadium Fest. We've had you at Safe at Home.
Yes, sir.
You're someone that always captivates the crowd, and again, we'll continue to talk about this, but you started out in a family of daredevils. Give us how you go from that to when my wife was the first one to ever mention you to me when she was at the Galleria shopping mall and there was a circus in the atrium, and she was like, I don't know what is so unique about this guy, but she said, Scott, you got to find out who this person is. His name is Bello. And that's all she gave me. And I tracked you down from that one name, Bello.
Yeah.
Tell the people your story. How did we get to know Bello Nock?
Wow. So I come from a family of entertainers, father from Switzerland, mother Italian, both 7 generations to me on both sides of the family of entertainers. Now, not all, my dad's side was circus and stuntmen, daredevils. Mom's side was the artisans of opera, theater, whatever, ballerinas. So they came to America to work for Ringling Brothers. They have 4 kids. I'm the youngest, I'm the redheaded duck of the family. one thing or another, I just, I think my entire life I could absolutely play the woe is me card. I could play the what would you call it? I've been I don't even know the name that people call it. I've been bullied. I took it as if someone was laughing at me, I got their attention and they were watching me, and that's an audience. You know how many people would love to have an audience? And so I took what I was taught and learned and put it to use no matter what the situation was, whether it was, and I've grown to do big things with you where there were 100,000 people, but I'll do the same performance, same job with the same amount of enthusiasm for a blind man and his dog. And yeah, that's what I'm looking for, an audience, because if you can make a difference in someone, whether it's life-changing, whether it's memorable, or just bring a smile to their face. So staying on point and focus is my hardest task in life. But how did I grew up loving to make people laugh because it came natural just by my looks, but I came from a family of daredevils and I learned how to do that stuff. Now, I think I've told you this many times. I've walked high wires and done some stunts in some crazy places. And most people will say right before you go on stage, good luck. There is no such thing as luck. It's when preparation meets opportunity. So into a kid who at 3, 4, and 5 years old, I traveled around the world with Roy Disney, Walt's brother, meeting Mickey Mouse for the first time. Sometimes we did 3 countries in one day, 3 airports. I'd get off with 3 other kids, and then the guy, Mickey Mouse would come off, and we weren't afraid of him because it was new. It was a pretty rarity back then, and we ran up and hugged Mickey Mouse. Then I did 6 months on Broadway in Peter Pan, the Broadway show of Peter Pan, and then a 2.5-year tour of Peter Pan with Kathy Rigby, and then with Sandy Duncan. Not the Mary Martin. I'm not that old, but and then 9 years old, I had my own wire act in the circus and in sports shows, stunt shows, where I was a clown walking the wire. So I have been performing my entire life. Met my high school sweetheart, or I met my now still sweetheart in 3rd grade. And that's a rarity because it was a family who traveled around a lot. We were in theme parks, 6 months here, 2.5 years here. We were home was always Sarasota, Florida, but when we were at I'm getting off. We'll get to it.
No, that's fun.
Growing up, I just never took no for an answer. Never took someone saying you can't do that or you'll never be able to make it, and just kept doing. So I have been fortunate enough to be seen over 20,000 live performances in either circus, stunt shows, water ski shows at Cypress Gardens, SeaWorld, Tommy Bartlett show, or the circus at River Chase Galleria. Have never said no to a setting that needed a performance.
And you knock it out of the park every single time. You crossed over the one down in Biloxi. What was that called? The Beau Rivage?
Beau Rivage, yep. A high wire across there, a high wire over Lincoln Center in New York City. 8 hours balancing on a chair on a high wire in the middle of Times Square. It was my 3rd Guinness Book World Record. But sitting down at a place where you can't get up to get a drink or go to the bathroom for 8 hours with the sights, sounds, smells, taxis, hot dogs, people walking, and I interviewed the entire time.
Yeah, right now during this pandemic, that's called a Delta flight. Anyway, all right. So as we walk through this, there is something about your father that most people don't know. We all know what happened in the stadium in New York City, but I love how you tell the story of how there was a new rock band coming to America, and they were the ones who opened up for them. Yeah.
This is a story of, I'll try to share this as quick as I can because I'm back. So my father and his family owned a circus in Switzerland, and Switzerland's the size of Rhode Island, 5 hours you can get from border to border. So they own their own circus. After a while, basically the audience, they did great business for a while because they could do it all. But after a while, the same family came to the same towns year after year, and it started to become mundane. Well, they basically weren't selling tickets, because in a circus, you got to sell. People have to buy the ticket to come inside to see, and that's how you eat, right? Mm-hmm. Entrepreneurs. So really, this hit home now during COVID. But resilience and just being able to redefine yourself. They weren't selling tickets. So 3 brothers said, you know what? Christmas is coming up. Let's top some Christmas trees. So the youngest brother climbed to the top, sort of quiet, and I'll just tell you how a Swiss pine tree grows. If this is a mountain, a steep mountain, a tree has to grow up until it hits light, and then it will blossom up into a Christmas tree in Switzerland. So they were climbing to the top of these wooden trees and topping them off. And my dad, instead of climbing down to climb back up another one, he just swayed and got from one tree to the other. And he was yodeling to his brothers. And the brothers say, hey, you idiot, shut up, be quiet. Otherwise, the town people are going to know we're up here, topping Christmas trees. And he said, what a novel idea. Maybe we should do this. And if the people knew we were doing this, they would come to the circus if they knew we were in town. What an idea. They took 2 Christmas trees, topped them, brought them to the front of the circus, set them up, and did that for free in front of the circus. They did great business, but while they were advertising for free an hour before every show, a man named John Ringling North, John Ringling's son, said, I want to take you to America. And they were like, well, in my circus. And they said, well, it doesn't fit in our tent. He said, in America, everything's bigger. It'll fit in my circus. So they came to America, 1954. They headlined Ringling Brothers till 57. Then they were done. Well, after you do that, they did a few things. They got seen by one thing. That was amazing, because Ringling went outdoors, no tent, outdoors. It got seen by someone. And before you know it, it was part of, I'm trying to think, I know the math of the calendar, but basically they were an attraction at the 64 World's Fair. And, no. They were on the Ed Sullivan Show, the same show the Beatles were on, and this big open air, this big sway poles, one thing or another, nobody remembers them. They were on that same show, and they were like, who? It was the 4 boys from England. Well, who noticed them was the producer and manager of the Beatles, and said, hey, listen, no other band could open for these guys. Their set is set, and we're just going to do something. You guys go do that sway pole act, open for the Beatles, and when they're done, they're done. You turn around, there they are, or the big entrance. So wow. They weren't remembered by the millions, but they were remembered by one. And that has always resonated in our family, in performance, how important that audience of one is.
Man, that's a sermon illustration ready to happen, because there is an audience of one.
Yes, and entertainment, social media, everything, life seems to be about the numbers. And we can get caught up in that. How important is that audience of one?
Wow. Man, what a great... You do this for a living. Okay, so now we're going to switch it back to your story, because you've just risen through the ranks, and you're involved in so many different areas. You were on the television show America's Got Talent, right?
Most Wanted? America's Most Wanted? No, wrong show.
I hope not.
America's Got Talent, Britain's Got Talent, Champions, and together with my daughter, been on 3 different seasons of America's Got Talent. I'm the guy who got shot out of a cannon over a helicopter for that show. It's been something no one else has ever done. I don't know that I would do it too many more times. No.
I wouldn't do it the first time. I told everyone in the studio, I said, I fully expect when that Zoom call opens up, you're outside in a cannon going, Scott, watch this.
I'm trying something different. I'm trying to sit back with the books behind me and looking at the intelligent side of
All right, so how did the hair come into play?
I was 11 years old. I was a water skier at Cypress Gardens, 3 shows a day, 7 days a week, the only redhead. Now, let me back up. Why was I a water skier at Cypress Gardens at 11 years old? Family of entertainers, traveled all around the world, different things. And then in the winter, yes, I went to school, but basically I had a tutor my entire life. And we got through school in 1 or 2 hours in the morning. And when you come from a family of trapeze artists, you are taught to hold on. No matter what, you hold on. Well, a tow rope that's pulling you at 30, 40, 50 miles an hour, you just hold on. Most people get scared and let go. My feet grew faster than me. I'm a clown. I wear big shoes. No. So I learned to barefoot water ski. I would like to say at the time I was probably one of the youngest barefoot water skiers, but you're going about from 0 to about 55 miles an hour with no skis on, and you're just trying to stay on top of the water. Most people fall down and let go. If that's a trapeze, someone says, hold on. I held on, and I tumbled and I got up. So if people remember what depended on the age group during the, let's see, almost all of the 80s, I came out of the audience asking one of the skiers for an autograph. I was the plant. And he said, sure, hold this, kid. And he went to turn around and sign the autograph, and the boat would take off. And I just ran down the beach, sat down, and barefoot water skied away, came in, waved. I got that job by the grunt work of picking up and rolling ropes and carrying skis, all the things that no one else wanted to do, but had a little bit of an ability, and they let me do it. How did the hair come about? There were 30 jocks. They all were in and out of the water. They all went and got, their ages were probably 18 to 30, 35 years old. And hair looks short, or short hair looks kempt in and out of the water. If it's long, you come up, you can't see. So I wanted to be like them. I was the only redhead. So everyone got a crew cut. Mine was that, and I sunburned my head. Florida, a hot summer, hot Florida sun, and sunburned my head and let it grow, let it grow, let it grow. And there were times I think I can remember my dad saying, can you do something with that hair? I tell you, I finally did something with the hair. We made Bello hair, sort of something I became known for. I don't know if it's infamous or sometimes outfamous.
It became your trademark there for a while. I mean, everyone looked for, they may not remember your name, but they go, my gosh, the hair. Yeah. And yes. So when you're doing your the stunts that you do, you can't say they're not dangerous. They are. They scare the audience. When you come down that pole head first towards the ground, every one of us is like, he's got to stop. I'm turning away. I can't turn away. It's like a crash that, at NASCAR or something. You're like, oh, I'm watching it for the crash. We pray the crash never happens for you. Has there ever been a time when you went, oh, this is going wrong? This could go south?
So thanks for that question. Absolutely everything I do is very serious. Yep. If you have a net or a safety along, you would have, I can't even say half of the audience. You'd have 10% of the audience, because some people, just feel like, oh, anybody can do it.
Well, let me just correct you right there. Anyone may be able to do it. There ain't no way I'm doing it. So anyway, let's just go ahead and correct you on that. Go ahead.
Well, they would try it because I will tell you, the thought of fame and fortune can mesmerize people and get people involved for the wrong reasons, right? The thought of, oh, wow, this is going to be life-changing. This is a lottery ticket. What I have learned is when you do something once, you now need to be able to do it 3 times a day, 7 days a week. If you can't do it 100 times in practice, in private, you have no business trying it in front of an audience. Adrenaline does not. It works totally opposite than most people think. Adrenaline will not get you somewhere that you can't go in your quiet time or quiet space. So accidents, injuries, cuts, nicks, and bruises, that goes every single day of training, not training, the aches and pains. But I've won a lot of awards in life, international awards. The one that really, there are a couple, the one that sticks out is before I was 50 years old, I got a WAS award, which is the World Acrobat Society. So not a WAS. And I got a Legend Award. No one in my industry has ever made it to 50 years old without any broken bones, without not making it, without any accidents or injuries that were being debilitating. I don't have a single broken bone in my body. I praise God for it. I will tell you, some people, are you lucky? No. I'm truly blessed in I love every minute, everything that I do, whether it's an audience, no matter whatever it is, even if the focus is not about me and I'm training someone else to do it, but you don't get there by accident.
Yeah, and for me, the WAS award, oh my gosh, you don't give a WAS award to an acrobat because, it's like, it's an honorary, in memoriam,
That's right. That's exactly.
So for you to have something, and I love what you said this to us one time, and you said, I perform for free. You pay for the preparation. Because that's what you come in days before building stuff. And so now you're living on what's appropriately called the funny farm. You got to explain to people what in the world, what is the funny farm?
It is when someone like me, 80, dyslexic, never met a stranger, AAA personality, when you have too much time on your hands. Let me tell you what it is. It's a 16-acre facility that people can come watch us practice, train, and do something new that we do. It's not just that, when you go see a band, a performer, a singer, no matter what it is, you're paying for a ticket to see everyone be perfect. What would you pay to see someone struggle to get perfection? What would you see to see someone get if life is all about the journey of getting there? What would you pay to see someone? Well, that ticket is not available in most places. Even a back lot tour is so prepped in theme parks and so prepped and so manipulated. You're not really seeing a backyard lot tour. So this is a 16-acre facility, 6-acre lake, so it's a land, air, and water park, and you can come and watch us train, high wire, wheel of wonder, flying trapeze, but you'll actually get to try it yourself. You can be on the flying trapeze, walk the wire, whether it's 2 feet off the ground, and eventually get to the 70-foot high wire. We have something called Human Cannonball University that should describe and explain itself. It is, I'll just tell you some of the things we have here.
You're serious. You're serious.
Oh, dead serious. Yes. Well, I shouldn't use dead, but very serious. No, very, very serious. So let me tell you, it's open to the public. There are things that are for the observation ticket that people want to just come and watch other people train, learn, and stuff like that. I love history. I've preserved a real, authentic Ringling Brothers train car. It's on tracks that the exact same tracks here from Sarasota. That train car is a full living car, 3 different living apartments in this train car. My parents lived in this same train car 50 years ago on Ringling Brothers. It remained Ringling Brothers until May 17th, 2017. 3 days later, it was on my property. 5 days later, it took us that long to move it on. I've got the trolley and tram from the Mayaca State Park that people would go and visit and see alligators and all the swamplands of Florida. I preserve them because they're part of our history and growing up. There are things from entertainment pieces from Epcot Center, from Disney, from my childhood. There's things of history, but there's also some first evers. We have the world's only, something I created, first ever double wheel of wonder that is basically a wheel of wonder that you know, that's the hamster wheel that I saw me do on my daughter on America's Got Talent, but it splits apart and you can counter rotate, recreate weightlessness, run on the inside outside up to 8 people, but it's a morphine wheel of wonder. We also have, which most people would identify with circus, is wire walking. We have 11 different heights of wire walking, but we have the daring young man on the flying trapeze. Everyone sort of understands it. You stand on a bar, on a pedestal, grab the trapeze and swing and hopefully catch the catcher. Well, me and a friend created something called the Flying Royals, because it's royal treatment. It's a daredevil. There's 2 of them there, and they're a crisscross pattern. So people can fly this way, and for other professionals, fly this way. So not only do you have to get the daring young man on the flying trapeze with the greatest of ease, but you got to do it in perfect timing so you miss the other person. So there is a 1,300 square foot deck that you can view this. And so there's a bunch of that stuff. Lots of fun.
Yeah, lots of fun. But you're not talking about someone can actually get on the high wire, like Bubba from Clanton going down. It can actually get on the high wire.
The answer is yes, and let me tell you how we got there. I have been building this for being open to the public because I knew we are open space. We have probably 50 different picnic tables that everyone can social distance, and we are safe. Even the parking lot is another 5 acres, so if you want to park your car 50 feet away from another car, you can do that. Everything is safe. But people need to get out and do something fun and not feel confined. So why I did this is for the past 15 years, I have been training other professionals, whether they're from Cirque du Soleil, Lights Motor Action at Disney, the mascot. I do Mascot University. If you go to your favorite NBA basketball game, I've trained those mascots. So I've been doing it for professionals to cross-train into something else, or just all the different, basically 360, how to stay safe, how to get your storage and message across without talking, and just all the different things and cross-training. So I have trained everyone on this property, from Nick Wallenda to the Impractical Jokers, Cirque du Soleil, American Stuntman Association, name it. And we've also had private parties for great and dear friends like Kenny Rogers is a great friend. He had his family. He came down here 4 times in 1 year just so his kids could enjoy and he could sit there and watch. And then Harry Connick Jr. We've had the HR department of Coca-Cola come down, and it was like a team building. So we've done it private. Then we were like, why don't I open this up to people who want to come for people have asked me, do you do birthday parties? Almost as a joke. Yes. And I said, yes, it's at my house.
Wow. Okay. So, all right, I know we'll have it in the show notes. We'll do it in the intro and as we cut away. But how do people get some more information on the Funny Farm experience?
We tried to make it as easy as possible. It's go to bellonock.com, BELLONOCK. We have called this place, or there's a division that is the Adventure Center, and it's at the Funny Farm. And you can go to any one of those websites, look me up somehow, find me, but it's in Central Florida, and you can book a package. Basically from 8 to 400 people can come in here, and let me make something very, very clear. My entire life, I have been a comic daredevil, and people would perceive both of those things as someone who has disregard for taking anything safe or keeping anything that out of the utmost of respect, or like almost, if you said a comic daredevil, both things would say, well, he probably has no regard for safety or anything serious. Have never had an accident myself, and anybody that I've trained, which is in the thousands, no accidents, no injuries. When I say come walk a high wire, you learn the fundamentals of walking a high wire. That high wire is 12 inches off the ground, because if you can safely get across that wire it doesn't matter what space is underneath you. It's like swimming. If you can swim in 3 feet of water, you can swim in 300 feet of water. It's all about staying afloat. And it's not all about the physical, about the ability of can you do it. It's the fundamental skills and the rules of successfully getting across the wire. If you can put them into action in life, in your home, in marriage, in your relationships, in any startup business, in anything, you will be successful.
Yeah. Anyone else that did this, I would think of the documentary Class Action Park. I mean, I'm just, you're the only one that I would go, I trust, because I've seen you. I mean, the delicate nature of preparing for what you do at one of our events, it beats any band, any other experience we've had. You put so much emphasis on being safe. So with that, I'm still not going to get on the wire, but for those of you who have that sense of adventure, you can trust him. So let me get back to this. We just lost you. I thought you were going outside to the cannon. I thought, here we go. But you also are such a family person. Not only you and Jennifer, but your kids, and now you've got Anna Elise. She's actually performing with you, correct?
She is. So many, if you talk to me for more than an hour, you'll hear me say 30 different times, oh, that's the pride and joy of my life. That's the pride. They all are, right? Everyone. Right. It's not what you do, because as an entertainer, ego-driven society, you can get caught up in the numbers. You can get caught in all that. My face is on a billboard 100 foot tall. It's not about what you do. If you say, I'm the only man in the world that's done that, that time will come and go. Who you are the other 22 hours out of the day means way more than any trick you can do in that 2-hour performance.
That's pretty solid. Pretty solid. So when COVID, we've talked about that. I know how you're dealing with it on the Funny Farm experience. How there's not a show out there right now. I mean, Vegas has finally started one at 10% capacity, but in the near future, we still don't know what that's going to hold or look like. How has that impacted you guys?
What a question, because we're not the only industry that's been impacted. And once someone's impacted in something, right? What does it matter if you were impacted better or worse than other? No, worse or more worse than someone else, right? Hey, I had my arm amputated. I had both arms amputated. Yeah. Hey, living without something, right? So at the same time, society will tell you to get used to whatever it has been. And history has a tendency to repeat itself. How you sustain or how you journey through that journey will help you weather all of those storms. So there are many people who just complained about, well, I want things to get back to what they were. Let me tell you that Hollywood was created out of the Great Depression. Entertainment was created out of a time of need. And we may not be needed right now during the first year when everyone's still trying to stand on their own. But I believe entertainment and being able to be that light for people, no matter what that is, whether it is a smile on their face, a destination where they can go, a memory, or just being able to share the gospel at someone with at a gas station pump. How was your day? What are you going through? Can I pray for you? Something like that, being that light. It may be in a different situation, right? You may not walk up to someone and say, can I pray with you, and grab their hands, but you have to adapt and change. I look at the same thing. Let your light shine in your performance, no matter what that is, from the time that you open your eyes out of bed. We all have that performance. We all have that interaction for someone. We all have that something we do for someone, if you realize it or not.
Yeah, I'm an evangelist by nature, so I'm always concerned about someone's eternal destiny. But when I first met you and saw what you did, I wanted to make sure you had your eternal destiny secure. It could happen to any of us, but for you, you do it 4 times a day, every show that it could happen to you. Your faith is very important to you.
Very, very important. It is the most important thing in my life. My parents always taught us growing up, 7 generations of my family entertainers, they never forced me to carry on the tradition. They just said I had to try it for 30 or 40 years. After that, I was free to make any decision I wanted. No. Married my high school sweetheart that we met in 3rd grade, and she taught me something very important, saying to our kids, and that is, I don't want you to feel obligated or entitled to follow in the footsteps. What was very important to my parents was they said, key, absolutely key, most important thing is education, because the day that you can't do the triple somersault or something physical, you can fall back on your education. They used to tell us that was the most important thing in life. I fell in love with a girl and followed her to church and found Christ. And I found through her the most important thing in life is our salvation, because health is very important, but you don't have to walk a wire or get shot out of a cannon or go do something that everyone would perceive very dangerous. We all drive cars. We cross streets. We live. We eat things that who knows where they came from. This is the latest craze. You never know when your last day is. So health, absolutely, for longevity, but your salvation and absolutely knowing beyond a shadow of a doubt where you are going, that is the absolute most important thing in life.
And I started out with Tara saying there was something about you, and that's what she came back and she said, that guy knows Christ. From a listen, she had 2 small kids with her by herself in a Galleria mall. She knew there was something about you. She said, he knows Christ. And so when I did the investigation, you've been interviewed by Focus on the Family, so many different Christian events around the world, but you are also the one that's out on the front lines. You're dealing with Cirque du Soleil. You're dealing with World Wrestling Federation. You're dealing with all these front lines. They sense something inside your life. Is it true that even while you were with the Ringling Brothers, you were starting to do Bible studies with the performers and all that?
Yeah, if you can't tell by someone's actions, they have no business talking about it. When I perform, there's no talking. I usually don't, but that way I can get all around the world, from Japan, Germany, it doesn't matter, Russia. So you, as they say when we're little kids, let your light shine, right? This little light of mine. When we were traveling with Ringling Brothers, we had a Bible study and church service. There were about 300 people on each unit, 2 different units, and it grew to probably 80, 90 people. If they couldn't come to the church service on a Sunday morning, they came to a Bible study on Wednesdays or Thursdays. And it just was, and let me tell you, it was open up to, you wouldn't believe the amount of faiths that came to that service. I mean, we even had 3 Muslim families coming to our church service wanting to know more. And, the faith comes by hearing and the hearing of the word. It was just amazing how you could win people over by, and again, we all fail. So I'm going to say you can't judge. You can't tell by someone's actions. They have no business talking about it. You just open up your door, and my wife was the person who ran it. It would take her a little more serious than me. But we try that everywhere we go. I have 3 kids, 3 adopted kids, never met a stranger. If I stay at a gas station for too long, if it takes too long to pump gas, I usually pump the person next to me.
That is so true. Every time we go out, I mean, we're just having a night, a dinner, and we'll turn around. Where's Bello? and you've got someone over in the corner, and it only takes you about 30 seconds to go into either a trick, a story, an act. You are one of the most people-loving persons I've ever been around in my life. You bring joy, man.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you. But let me tell you, because I have been happily married. I used to tell this joke. I've been happily married for 8 years. I've been married for 32, and my she goes, if you want to make it to 33, stop telling that joke. Imagine if you heard the same joke over and over 6 times a day. My wife allows me to be the absolute modern day Peter Pan. I don't know when taxes are due. I don't know how much. I don't know any of that hard stuff. I just know that my job in life is to be, which one day you joked right before a performance that we were going to do. You said, Bello, you're the chum. And I'm chumming the waters. That is not a job that gets turned off.
Yeah, let me go ahead and make sure. We talk about stocking the pond so we can go fishing for men.
Sorry.
I want to make sure people go, we are friends, ladies and gentlemen. I promise you. I was basically telling him he's stirring up the water so we can go fishing.
Yes. Well, but you know what? I've always, at a young age, I always said, if you're going to make a scene, be seen, right? Let me go to this. No matter where I have gone in life, at performance, I was the guy, like at the circus. You have the ringmaster with the tall hat. Everyone thinks he owns the circus. The guy who owns the circus is usually the guy in back in the office making sure all the tickets were sold, counted properly, everything's paid. He's the guy with all the stress. The guy they don't take serious is the first person they see who looks like me. He's going to, I've seen that guy, he joked. So you're not taken serious, but that's okay. It takes all kind. The hands have to do what they do. The head has to do what they does. The heart has. If the hands say, hey, I want the hearts, well, they're busy. They can't do. So everyone's got to do what they do. I don't have the ability to and I do not have the talents that you do, Scott Dawson. When I finish my performance, I walk back panting as can be, sweating, but I sit there and watch you in awe because it takes a certain person to have that ability, passion, and to sustain that. And you might be good at it, but is someone in your step, is that the realism that people can trust. And he goes, ooh, I can see that guy, that man believes it. And I want what he has. Believability.
Well, thank you for that.
Thanks. I'm only smart enough to partner up with people like you and other people to be that.
Yeah. Real quick, we're coming to a close, but I two questions. One, have you written a book? Is the book written?
Got to learn how to read first.
Yeah. I'll almost pay for a ghostwriter. I mean, your stories have got to be shared. And when you speak for a moment. But when you write for a lifetime. That book, it's a great time. It's not like we're traveling a lot of places. So
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hopefully, if we can assist you in any way of that, you're one of the most remarkable people that someone can invest time with. I've already said it. You bring joy. You bring a sense of adventure. You get it. Your identity is not wrapped up in what you do. You and Jennifer, y'all are just you're just bright lights. So thank you.
I couldn't do it without my wife, Jennifer, been on by my side for 30-some years, been happily married 32 years. And my youngest daughter, Annalisa, you asked me about, but ADD took over and I went that way. Following in the family footsteps, a Guinness Book of World Record holder. She has the ability to do and teach as I do, but she wants it people ask, are you afraid of your daughter following in the footsteps, walking high wires and high heels? And I say no, because that is a practiced thing that you just do, and you don't try something, irregardless in front of an audience, hoping you'll make it. But she impresses me every single day, every moment on how she will stop whatever seems to be important in a performance or whatever, and stop and pray with someone. Actually both of my daughters, how faith is so important to them, and how they are a true friend to people when it's needed, and how the glory of God is just the most important thing to them.
Wow. Most of the time I ask our guests, how can we pray for them? But I'm just going to go ahead and take a step of faith and go, for you guys, not only, God's favor upon the Funny Farm experience, wisdom to know which steps you need to take, and his protection. Now, when I say protection, everybody's immediately going to go, oh yeah, if I'm walking on a high wire, I need his protection. But for you, it's another level. Not only the high wire, but when you're dealing with the industry that you're walking in. Most Christians have simply run away from the arts and entertainment. It's a very dark place, can be, kind of like politics, but you've run to it. And so I just think people need to pray for you. Go ahead.
Yeah, Scott, thank you. Let me tell you, you hear me sitting here with a smile on my face. It's not fake. I love my life. But I have not had a paycheck since March, right? Since February 28th. And during that time, I built, I hate to say a theme park, but I built a place that I built and opened doors into something that is absolutely never been done before. There's nothing like this. So is it a scary place? Absolutely. No one's ever going to get hurt here. Will the business, because you can have the greatest product, if you don't get the word out there, we can have the greatest secret in the world. That doesn't help anybody. So yes, I would appreciate the prayers for that, is knowing to making the right decisions. Because I heard a friend say this, I am a tremendous animal trainer. When it comes to business, I am a tremendous animal trainer.
Absolutely. Well, I will say this. We'll have it all in the show notes. You can get it on YouTube channel. You can get it on the Facebook post. You can get it on our email that goes out, bellonock.com. And that word knock is NOCK.com. Go to the adventure experience. You can find more about the Funny Farm experience, learn more about Bello, his incredible wife, Jennifer, his phenomenal family. Again, if you don't mind, Bello, if you'll stick around during the break, I want to ask you one question, and then I'll let you go, okay? But I'm going to tell you something. It has been a joy to walk with you over these last 45 minutes. You're one of my favorites.
Thank you, sir.